Are you looking for the correct price for your paintless dent repair? Have you searched the internet at what it might cost to have a dent pulled by a professional company? You might not find the right information you're looking for. When I started my career, it was almost taboo to put your pricing out on the internet. And I believe a lot of us professional paintless dent repair companies hold that information almost secret is because of the variables when pricing out a repair. But today we're gonna go ahead and dive in the pricing structure used nationwide, accepted by multiple insurance companies, body shops, and any dealer that you may visit to get paintless dent repair performed on your car. This video is gonna show you behind the scenes look at our software for estimating, along with some real world examples of some dents and price ranges that you could expect to pay when looking for this service. So I'm Jim with Bones Dent Repair. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and I hope you find this information valuable today. And let's go ahead and dive right into it.
So what we're going to go ahead and look at first is a screen recording of Mobile Tech RX. This is a estimating software used by professional companies across the nation, pricing by the inch. And my local pricing chart, I start at $145 and charge $50 per inch. And the national standard's actually gone up to closer to $175 to start, whereas I feel most companies hover around that $150 mark for the first inch. So what I'm doing now is I slotted through some additional sizes, showing you 6 inches, 3 inches, 9 and 12, and then added in some common factors, going to be a body line, so you can see how it affects the price, along with aluminum, which is also another common added factor. Now moving into this part of the software, it's going to be how we're going to charge you for removal and installation of parts whenever something needs to be disassembled for tool access. So really common is to take apart a door, perhaps the interior trim panel, glass, remove the door itself. I've stripped a lot of that away and showing you here that a common body line dent can be repaired as little as $181.25. When you compare that to what it would take just to repaint one door for similar size repair, we're pretty much a fifth of the cost. Most common body shops in my area for just a single panel is about $800 to $1,000 for all the functions and complete repaint. So let's dive back into the paintless dent repair cost now.
Okay, so you just seen some clips where I talk about our pricing software and how we charge by the inch, but let's look at a real vehicle. I've got the Bones Dent Repair Tundra pulled into the shop, and let me show you why you may encounter some differences in price when you go to shop out your dent. Okay, so let's dive into the most common panel to get hit and door ding, and that's gonna be a door. So I went ahead and I placed some of the tools that you may see a professional company use. That's gonna be a magnetic ruler, perhaps a dent sizing chart like this one, and or even more extensive guide, something that's gonna show the factors, and or a pricing by the inch scale for you. Now, this right here is how we're gonna price out hail damage. You're gonna have the common sizes of dents and how we categorize a panel, which is dimes, nickels, quarters, half dollars, all the way to extreme dents. After categorizing the common size of the dent on the panel with hail damage, we're gonna go ahead and count how many dents per panel, either 1 to 5, 6 to 15, 16 to 30, so on and so forth. And that's gonna give us a price on how we're gonna do your hail damage. But I bet most of you are really searching for perhaps a more complex dent or a common door ding. Maybe you have a body line dent. Perhaps the hood of your vehicle got hit. So looking at a door as a whole, it's actually a pretty complex structure because you're gonna have the door frame and surrounding edges where the outer skin is rolled over onto the inner framework. Then you're also gonna have the intrusion beam that generally runs horizontal of the car, and that's what keeps you safe, and or on a diagonal angle, right? Along with that, you're also gonna encounter an upper door brace on pretty much all modern vehicles. That's gonna block this upper edge, and sometimes it actually braces the body line. So every vehicle is built a little bit different, And we're gonna go ahead and wedge open the window to insert tools. You can see I'm using these plastic wedges and a steel guard, and we're gonna be applying a lot of pressure on this glass to fix a door ding, a common door ding. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, I can't imagine you putting a tool from here and reaching all the way down there. And you'd be correct. You can't really get leverage with the common paintless dent repair tools. So I thought I'd take this quick second and show you some of the tools in which we're gonna use. So here's some of the stuff that I use on a mobile basis, and this is a common dent repair rod for fixing a door. So we're gonna use this tool, like I mentioned, insert it into the cavity and use a twisting prying motion to push out the dents. So you can see that's about halfway down the door to where I can get good leverage. Anything else is gonna be blocked. So say your door ding is obstructed by a brace. That's gonna restrict our tool selection and access for leverage to do your repair. So that $150 common door ding service perhaps just went up to $180. Very commonly found, it's a 25% upcharge. Another really common upcharge is going to be if your dent is located on a body line. An upcharge for that starts at 25%, depending how pronounced the body line is. The third most common factor that I'm going to mention is going to be aluminum. The F-150 is famous for being built out of aluminum, and that's upwards of 50% due to how difficult that material is to reshape. Continuing the topic of a door, if I open up my car door, you're gonna see we have an interior trim panel. Okay, so that'd be the first thing we're gonna remove to get to the other areas of the door. Now, perhaps we can't reach through the window. Another point that is really commonly used is through this handle. So we may disassemble the latch and handle assembly in order to get to this portion of the door as well. Right here, you're gonna go ahead and see some spot welds, and that's talking about that intrusion beam and brace. Look how wide it is. It's gonna cover a big part of the door. Here's a secondary brace here. Here's some more spot welds that are also indicating that upper door brace. These are things a professional technician is gonna look for when evaluating the access for your door. Another common thing that happens with dent repair is that bottom area gets dented really often. So in that scenario, I'm gonna remove the trim, I'm gonna pull the glass, and I'm actually gonna take the door off and set it on a specialized stand. That way we can go ahead and fix your vehicle properly. Those are all really common scenarios with paintless dent repair when working on a door and how I might price it for you. So let's talk about a hood and a fender real quick. I would easily say a fender is one of the most common panels to work on, but it's actually one of the friendliest. That's because it's generally an open panel when you remove the interior liner. Most of the area is gonna be free and clear of any major components that might block our area. But on certain modern cars, this front headlight portion has a big brace. So F-150 was a vehicle I mentioned. They have a brace. We all know about it. Audi has a brace, and Mercedes and Audis and certain other manufacturers are now making aluminum fenders. So that making it easy on us just got real difficult over the past few years. Now, a hood is also a really common panel for all manufacturers to make out of aluminum. It's a big panel, so they try and save weight. And the next common thing that is an upcharge for paintless dent repair is gonna be the bracing of a hood. The whole bottom surface is really challenging to get into. And sometimes there's actually a third layer, which you can see right there. Sorry, I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. It's actually an additional brace that's glued to the outer skin. So these hoods can be really, really tricky to get tools to the backside and fix. The next thing I wanna talk about is judgment calls. These are pricing guides, and although they are our rule book that we go by to ensure we're gonna be able to deliver you a high quality result at a fair cost, there's always a situation that may be harder on us. Perhaps we're more experienced, or perhaps we're gonna offer an improvement repair. I think that's why you're gonna find not all companies are gonna go ahead and blast their pricing out there for everyone to see. Because sometimes a small little dent is $100. And or that small little dent, maybe $500. It might be aluminum behind a brace, the whole car has to come apart, and it may be a major deal just for a small dent. Maybe it was shot by a BB gun. Maybe it's overstretched. There's so many little factors about dent repair when it comes to pricing. So this has been a pretty deep dive already, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking. You're not seeing me fix a single car, but I also want to take the opportunity to talk about motorcycles. This is my Honda Valkyrie. I love motorcycles, have since I was a little kid. And it's also a cool little thing that I've picked up with Paintless Dent Repair, being able to fix some of the body panels on bikes. Fenders we can sometimes fix without having to take everything apart, but you'd be surprised and when we have to disassemble your bike for repair work. Most common request is going to be onto a tank, and tanks need to come apart, get drained, and be mounted so we can get the proper leverage. You wouldn't want to go fixing a dent on a big heavy bike and risk flipping it over on its side, because we're actually using a lot of force. So most of the time, I'm gonna go ahead and remove body panels and mount them proper to do repair work. I have a video on my YouTube channel showing me do some tank repair on a really cool Kawasaki if you're interested. So dent repair on motorcycles, it's a specialty repair. It's way more time consuming. I almost swear it takes me double the time. So that's gonna start at $185, and it's still about the same, $50 per inch, but the factors are boosted just a little bit to account for all that extra time and care we're gonna have to do. But you'd be surprised, you can fix a dent on a bike for $200 or less and save your original paint. It was so valuable. So to make this even easier on you, I figured I'd talk about kind of 4 tiers of dents. I would say tier 1 is gonna be a really standard door ding service. Expect to pay $250 or less for this. No major components are gonna come apart. Your dent's probably 1 to 3 inches in size, and overall fair access with no complexities. That kind of service is about an hour, 2 hours max. Something like that we perform at my shop while you wait all the time. Tier 2 is gonna be a tough dent, something that may not seem overly complex to the naked eye outside, but once explained and shown, maybe we're gonna have to take your car apart. Maybe it's sizable, up to 5 inches, 6 inches in size, or maybe we're restructuring a body line for you. Something like that, you're gonna expect to pay $250 to $500 as just ballpark ranges. Okay, maybe we're gonna do some polishing of scratches for you as well, and so forth. Tier 3, we're gonna start talking about those harder dents. And I'm actually gonna broaden the range of price. I would say you're gonna be from $400 to $850. That's where we might be able to fix a big dent for you, give you a major improvement, and or it's something that's gonna be really challenging for us as far as tools and access. So size on that, expect to be 8 inches or so, body lines, aluminum, components coming apart on your car. That's pretty common in today's world to encounter a dent repair that's starting to reach up to $1,000. And that's really the last tier we're gonna talk about. That's gonna be minor collision damage, parking lot fender benders, maybe a slow roll into an object where you're gonna get a dent upwards of a basketball or even more. And that's when we start to talk about insurance claims and getting your damages covered. And that's gonna approach that $1,000 mark or even multiples of thousands when we're talking about multiple panels and or really, really big jobs where we're saving that panel from replacement. So damages like that can get fixed. When you're seeking a professional technician, look for videos of their work. You wanna make sure they're doing super high quality. Maybe they'll demonstrate for you how they're gonna do the repair work or direct you to more content so you can really see what they're all about. That's what I try to do here with Bones Dent Repair. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much if you watched the end. I hope you found some value in this, and let us know how we can help with your dents today. Thank you so much and take care.